Welcome, everyone, to the Completely Unnecessary Podcast for Tuesday, September 1st. It's September 2020, alongside Ian Ferguson.
Howdy.
Chili making Ian Ferguson. I'm chili cooking Pat Contry. On the show today, we'll be discussing Call of Duty cheater.
Yes.
Getting caught. Chewy, or Chewy founder acquiring some GameStop stake. And a big NWC trade happened.
Big.
Patreon poll topic as well. We'll see what else comes up. Maybe time for Q&A. First, we got some wares at ultimatenintendo.com. The not for resale Blu-ray is back in stock. Hallelujah. So the only major change or difference is it now has both English and Spanish subtitles on there. So there you go. For all you Spanish speakers that couldn't follow along before. Now you can go to ultimatenintendo.com. And of course, we got the pins going on. Got the RBI baseball stickers and certain NES and Super Nintendo guidebooks there. It was a chilly weekend, Ian. Not just chilly, like cold. It cooled down finally, at least in San Diego.
It was the theme of the weekend was let's make chili. That's how it was. You called me and told me that you were very excited.
I was very excited.
You had come upon three pounds of ground turkey
for like $9.50 only. That's a deal and a half.
Yeah, that is. And you were going to make chili. You had bought a kit. You asked me for a couple of ideas, and then I had been thinking about making chili prior in the week, and I ended up making white chili with chicken, which is pretty much all gone at this point. It was a rousing success. But yeah, chili is great to make. It's perfect at all times of the year. I like to make it when it's hot. I like to make it when it's cold. I like to make it when I was young, and I will like to make it when I am old. All
right, Dr. Seuss chili book. So you forgot to bring your container.
I did.
I'll send you home with some, even though you did not bring any of your chili for me for our chili trade.
It did not last.
How many people were at the chili?
It's just Vonnie and I.
How many pounds did you make?
Made it with 2 pounds of chicken.
And beans? You went 2 people ate through all that in one sitting?
I've got like enough for lunch, and then that's it. Yeah, we made it on Friday or Saturday.
Oh, so you ate it in 2 days? Okay.
Yeah, so I ate it. I was
gonna say 1 meal. That's a lot because
Oh no, not one.
Because it's like because once you add the beans, it's like it doubles the weight at least. Yes. I put in 3 pounds of 85% lean turkey meat, which came out good. There's a little bit of fat, not a lot. And then 2 pounds. I had a 3-year-old can of black beans. It's still good. It's canned. It lasts for decades. I had that, and then went to the dollar store, Ian. And they had kidney beans at the dollar store. I love the dollar store. So I bought 2 pounds of kidney beans for $2. And they had the Hatch chili crisps, which is something I discovered didn't exist. They basically peel off the Hatch chili, I guess, and then they crisp them up. So it's like a healthier potato chip, but there's a kick to it.
It's tasty. It's kind of like the freshest fried onions, kind of.
So I garnished it with that. I sent Ian a picture. I'm very proud of my garnishment.
It looked nice.
And plating. So I did that, and then I added Ian recommended some more cumin and chili powder I did not have, so I bought that because the kit wasn't enough. I wanted to doctor it, and garnished with that and a little dollop of sour cream in the middle, and you serve. And I have some left still, and I brought over, and Frank had some on Sunday with his friend Richard, and with a side of cornbread. You gotta have some little bit of cornbread with it.
I ran out of. I always like to make cornbread, especially with the white chicken chili. It goes really well, but I ran out of. I was out of cornmeal, so I didn't make any.
I just buy it at Sprouts.
Yeah.
It's like a big block for like $2.
Stuff that you buy is really tasty too. I just like to make it. I like to make it in the skillet. But yeah, my buddy Adam gave me what must have been a couple of pounds of Hatch green chilies. So those, for people who don't know what Hatch green chilies are, they're a type of chili, green chili that is only grown in New Mexico. It's like a brand name. And farmers will bring them out to California, San Diego every summer, and they set up big roasters, and you buy boxes of them for like $30, and they will roast them right there for you. So my friends Adam and my friends John, although John did not do it this year, usually go during the summer, and they'll buy a couple boxes, and then they'll take them home and clean them and bag them up and freeze them, so they've got roasted Hatch green chilies for the entire year.
So they're roasted,
super good.
They just taste better when you slice them, and
they don't
eat them raw. I mean, they're not raw. They don't eat them like just whole, do they?
Oh, I do. I have.
They're not that too hot to do that?
No, they usually come in multiple spice categories. This year they were more mild. Last year I got some extra hot ones, but yeah, I love the taste of them. Just like the roasted ones, just get the skin off and just eat the flesh. It's so good.
Flesh?
Yeah, the flesh.
Is it called flesh?
Yeah.
For that? Okay. Not skin, and is the flesh inside?
You get rid of the skin.
Oh, then what are
That's
the
what roasting them for.
What are the crisps? How are those made then?
Probably dehydrated. The flesh dehydrated.
Ugh, chili flesh. It just sounds weird to me. I don't like how that sounds.
You have a new Flea Market Madness. Sir.
Thanks, Ian, for bringing that up. I wasn't going to bring it up at all.
Nope.
Yeah, this weekend, Ian, I edited a Flea Market Madness. That's out, number 35. It was filmed May 2015, and then I have about 15 episodes left in the till. Check it out on the YouTube channel there. The one thing I want to bring up, Ian, from that, I found like 10 Genesis games I got a deal on. I found a GBA SP101. Got a deal on that, which I probably own like one of every color now. So eventually I got to probably sell a bunch of those, because now they're worth like $120. GBA SPs. These be like 60 to 80 for a GBA SP. A regular one was like 30 to 40, like 5 years ago, back when I was picking these things. And obviously a lot more people are buying the SP101s because they're brilliant to use those. So I came across, Ian, not okay, if you want to be spoiled, turn it off right now. This is the most controversial part of the episode, at least the part that people are talking about. Turn it off right now, but you'll see why. So I came across a vendor. It was a reseller. Hadn't seen him there before. I remember that. And he had a bunch of game stuff. I remember he had a couple of Sega Bass Fishins Dreamcast, because that's my favorite cover ever in a video game. One was sealed, I remember. Then he had an N64 for sale. And what does Pat always do what do you do when you come across an N64, Ian? What's the first thing you do? You check the jumper to make sure which one is there, what's there. There was no jumper there, and the lid wasn't on. And I go to the guy, how much is the N64? This is before I did it. He goes, oh, it's I think he said, God, I can't remember my video, $35 or $50, something like that. He said something in that area. So I take off the jumper. There's no jumper. I said to him, you can't sell this. It won't be working without the jumper. He goes, yeah, I know. I'm like, okay. Then I looked, and the jumper was separate behind one of those like spinny acrylic case things with a bunch of other stuff. He goes, yeah. It said if they wanted, they can buy it separately. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah. And he said, no one nowadays wants an N64. Everyone has a piece, so you have to buy them both separately. And my mind just was blown. And it was the regular jumper. It wasn't even the expanded pack. So my mind was blown. I never had seen someone deliberately separate a jumper from an N64 before and sell it, even at this. I never had seen that.
No, that's absolutely insane.
And what's worse about that, I mean, at the time I was just like, my blood wasn't boiling. I was just like, this is the sleaziest thing I've ever seen. Like, I can picture someone buying the N64 and not realizing that and bringing it home.
Absolutely.
And not knowing what the hell's going on.
And that jumper is useless to them without the 64. Almost no one's looking for a jumper. If you've got an N64 without something in there, instead of buying a jumper, you're probably just going to say, okay, I'm going to go find the expansion pack.
I mean, I've seen them before. I mean, I have seen jumpers available before, because obviously you get the expansion pack, you take out the jumper. I picked up a couple.
I'm just saying they're not something that's going to go like super fast.
Yeah, so to me then, that was the height of... That was probably not the angriest I ever got with the seller, but that was like, wow, because that wasn't just, hey, I'm charging more than I should. You can charge what you want, but like you're going to this other side of really stretching out how much you're going to be buying this for. And I don't know how many people would come to the swap meet to buy an N64 with the jumper. I can see the opposite happening. I found N64s without jumpers before, but I've never been like, I'm looking specifically for an N64 without a jumper. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
I've never seen someone, I have a spare jumper laying around, but no N64 for it. That's what people got the most kick out of. I couldn't believe that. And I had it when I had it in the live premiere with the chat. I expected at least one or two people to say, oh, Pat, that's okay. You usually have people that always are contrarians. No one was a contrarian that time for that. And of course, Frank dances, so it's fun. And I won't give away, I found a Saturn game that was surprising to see. That would be a secret. In a bunch of, usually like PS2 games and, stuff like that era of games, and finding a Saturn game was like, whoa, okay, there's just one there randomly. So a huge cache of mask toys was found in South America and Chile with a bunch of other Kenner toys. This isn't a full topic, but this was an incredible looking find. This is one of those like finds that collectors dream about if this was video games, or sort of like it was like a Tim Atwood thing. But for mask toys and it sounds like some other Kenner toys, like Chuck Norris toys that were found like mid 80s, we're talking Kenner toys.
Lots of vehicles.
Yeah, I don't know if what
brand new.
Yeah, I don't know what runs of these are. I think I saw one article is like 5 different Iguana, Firefly, Bullet, Meteor, and Manta mask toys. But the tweet from Toy Scavenger doesn't do this find justice. There's a YouTube video that shows more of all these toys that are found, not just mask toys, but like we're talking like a warehouse full of these things. Like we're talking hundreds of boxes of sealed shipping boxes of these toys. And I love masks, but I don't keep up with the toys and how much they're worth. Obviously, this is good for the collectors because everyone can get one. They're trying to sell them through the mask Facebook group, which I just try to become a member of to see, because hell, I might want one. I mean, if there's tons of these, they can't be selling for a huge amount.
Right.
And I don't know what it does to the value of all this stuff. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's all of them. There's also Sky Commanders, which I've never... was Sky Commanders the ones with the little air missiles that fired?
Let me
see that. Look. Sky Commanders. Because those are ones that I had as a kid. I had one of them. Were those? Yeah, they were.
I remember these. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I might be in the mood for this. Okay.
Yeah, they're the ones that you would...
they propelled. Okay,
yeah,
that's different than what I was thinking.
Cables.
I was thinking of the little mini guys in the vehicles that they shot the missiles out of. That's something different. Okay, this is different. Okay, but this is more, Mask and Sky Commanders and Chuck Norris. This is more esoteric toy stuff. This isn't like, G.I. Joe or Ninja Turtle stuff, but it's still awesome to see this stuff being found. And that's why, you got to watch out for this stuff, because this stuff happens every year. It seems like there's a find like this that's happened. And I don't know how things end up in South America like this, like all the Caltrons and the freaking Caltrons that was Mexico, and then all the dinosaur peaks that end up in Chile. That's where I got mine from. So yeah, it's just interesting.
It's crazy. So just on the homebrew console front, there was a article about the Wii Boy Color is what they called it. It's a nice looking case mod that basically takes a Wii that takes a Wii motherboard and stuck it inside what is almost a one-to-one replica of a Game Boy Color case that was 3D printed. If you look at the Game Boy Color and the Wii Boy Color side by side, they're almost the same size, almost the same dimensions. It's a little bit thicker. It's got rear triggers and 2 analog sticks, and can run all Wii games. It's not emulation in any way, shape, or form. It's actually just the guts stuck inside a case. We've seen some of this stuff done before. There was that really small Wii, I think, that we saw that was in an Altoids tin. A few years ago.
I remember we talked about that. Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
That thing was burned up in his battery in a half hour, whatever.
Yeah. He did have to software hack some of the Wii's controls.
Sure.
But yeah, so I thought that was kind of neat.
Well, he came up with his own custom boards to help make this run too. I think I saw that. He had to develop his own little boards to make this work too, besides the motherboard. He says this is not an overclocked Android smartphone running an emulator. Is an actual Nintendo Wii motherboard inside the 3D printed case, cut down to fit, plus its own custom circuit boards. Oh, cool. It's a 480p display from a car backup camera. Nice. This is awesome.
Yep. Gets a reported 2 to 3 hours of battery life. Runs on USB-C. So
is it a micro SD card, I guess, for the games?
I would have to assume. I don't think it actually says anywhere here, but yeah, that would be my guess, is that it's probably running something off SD card.
You gotta attach it to a CD-ROM
there
drive.
it is. 3.5 inch 480 IPS from a car backup system. You stopped just shy. A pair of standard 18650 lithium ion batteries, a USB stick for storing games, and a USB-C port for charging and game transfers.
Stick.
So the stick must be inside the actual system, acting as the storage. Because it says
you put the stick inside.
Yep.
Got it. So it's like an internal sort of thing.
Yeah, it's acting as internal.
Okay.
It says it uses the USB-C to charge and do game transfers.
That's not a bad idea. It's its own little internal hard drive, basically, instead of modding it to put your own little micro SD, little port on the side. That's a pretty good idea to do that. Yeah, I like this stuff a lot. I'm not sure we're ever gonna get a handheld Wii ever in our lives, but this is cool.
And this is by Ginger of Mods. That's I believe that's the Twitter handle, and it says in the article that it sounds like Ginger takes commissions if you absolutely must have one of your own.
Okay. I wonder what do we charge for one of those? I mean, with that, you remember that's you get GameCube capability as well. You get two systems.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's a 2-for-1 deal. Check it out. Ginger of Mods. He's got a decent following here. Never heard him before. You? Mm-mm. Well, let's go. Maybe
now I have.
Maybe he's the 2020 Ben Heck. Like he's Ben Heck for a new generation.
Yeah.
He's the Scott DeWaz of mods coming out there. In sadder news, talk about the passing of Chadwick Boseman, age 43. This kind of shocked everyone when it happened because I don't know. This sounds like many people didn't know he was living with colon cancer.
Yeah, it sounds like he kept it very, very private.
Sounds like the only people that knew about this were maybe probably the director and producer of some of these movies. Probably wouldn't have to know that in case something happened. But other than that, like no one knew about this. I don't know. You want to give your thoughts on this? How this hit you?
It caught me off guard, and I hate to sound emotionless, but so much has happened this year that a lot of times when things come up on the news these days, I don't feel a lot. But there was something that grabbed me about his passing. I think a lot of it just has to do with how young he was. 43 years old. But also the fact that the man was filming the movies that he is probably going to be best known for while dealing with cancer, chemotherapy, and treatments. I think that's an incredibly strong person who can do that. And, the videos of him going and seeing children at the various cancer wards, at hospitals, to brighten up their day while he's going through the exact same thing and not talking about it. I think it really speaks to the type of person that he most likely was in his day-to-day real life. And it's a shame that we won't see any more of him, and I can't imagine what it's like for those who not only saw him as a great actor, but as representation as well in a industry that often sidelines people of color. And that's kind of my thoughts on it. It's just, very sudden and very tragic.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that hasn't been acting professionally that long. That's what's amazing. Looks like his career really, he was on TV in little minor roles here and there, which happens to a lot of actors for they hit it big. You get a role here and there. And then it's like 2012. Oh, okay. He had one series for 13 episodes called Persons Unknown as an officer. But after that, a 42 was what I first discovered him. Or, hey, this Jackie Robinson movie was coming out. And I remember I almost saw it in theaters. It just seemed like it was cool to see a modern Jackie Robinson movie because there hadn't been one. I think God. I mean, Jack Robinson started his own one way back, but yeah, I want to check that out, and I didn't. I regretted that, and I still haven't seen it. I've seen parts of it. I hear it's really good. And then the James Brown movie I did not see. And then obviously once he did Civil War as Black Panther, then he blew up obviously from that. And then he played Thurgood Marshall, which was the first African American Supreme Court justice. I didn't see that either. But tackling three real life people like that are all like icons it's kind of rare to see that, and he did it like one after the other,
which
is not just you have to be a good actor. You have to like have the courage to say, hey, I'm going to play James Brown.
Yeah, it definitely takes a special person to be able to represent three icons the way
that quickly with like one after the other.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot more to say on it, but it's.
And then obviously I talked about the importance of the Black Panther character before, and how it wasn't just like people were saying, well, there's been Blade and other superheroes that were black. I'm like, it's not the same thing. This is a major tentpole release that everyone is going to see. This isn't a joke like Meteor Man or Blank Man. Blade wasn't even marketed as a superhero. It was just an action movie that was R-rated as a vampire, thing. So it was totally different.
And it wasn't just a black lead. It was black supporting characters, and
it was Africa.
Yeah, Africa. The almost the entire cast was, black and people of color. It was all, I think,
except for Martin Freeman. Yeah,
Martin Freeman was. Yeah, he was
the only guy.
Honestly, he's the only one that I can think of that was there.
Yeah, and it was a good movie. Obviously people. Yeah, it's expected people are gonna put things on pedestals like that, but no, it was an important movie, and it was good. And it's a shame that obviously he passes away so young. But I looked at it as, man, this guy lived his life fullest. I mean, he's gonna be remembered forever for this body of work. Very impactful in such a small period of time. I mean, yeah, it was almost like I was sad, but it was just like, man, this guy went out on his own terms and didn't ask for pity from anyone. No. Just did his job, did it well, and now everyone's going to look up to it. Like, I will not be able to bring myself to see Black Panther 2 if they make it. I'm not going to be like, I just, it is what it is. It's over to me. That sort of character. Me, it's like, okay. It's a little bit too real. It starts to get real when actors pass away and they're filling these roles and trying to move on from them. It's happened a lot the past 10 years. Obviously it happened with Carrie Fisher and Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's been happening more, it seems like, where I just have no interest anymore. But no, so celebrate the man's life. And that's the only thing I can say. It's obviously tragic, but yeah. I have admiration for someone that was suffering that much and still doing all this good work, and no one had a clue about it. That spoke a lot to me. So let's see what else is going on in the world. Speaking of stuff, we're talking about movies. Bill and Ted Face the Music came out. It seemed like when Bill and Ted was like a weird franchise to bring back, and because it's not like it did extremely well when it came out, but everyone likes, it's enjoyable little romp, right? Yeah. Bill and Ted. I actually never saw the sequel. I've seen parts of it.
The sequel's very good.
I saw the first one in the theaters twice, and that was rare for me as a kid to see a movie twice in theaters.
I love the first one. I've only seen the second one a couple of times. The first one was one that I actually did not like as much as I when I first saw it, and as I saw it more, I grew to appreciate it more. The second one I've only seen twice, but I enjoyed it both times. I remember everyone saying it was bad when it came out, but it's really not.
It's getting like this sort of like cult, not cult following, but people have reversed on that and think it's even better than the first one. I see some people say that.
Yeah, it's very good. I have not seen this new one. I will at some point. Everything I've heard about it since it's come out is that it's been quite good. I haven't heard a bad review of it.
80% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Which is, that's pretty big.
As wholesomely goofy as its heroes, Bill and Ted Face the Music is a rare, long-belated sequel that largely recaptures the franchise's original charm. Because they've tried this with, like, Dumb and Dumber. The sequel came out, 20 years later, and no one cared. The true sequel. And so, obviously, it's tough to pull off. I guess I'll see it at some point. I just had no interest. Once I saw it hit, I was just like, I don't know. I don't know if as I'm getting older, if I want to just try to just automatically go back 30 years to try to recapture a feeling that easily from the movies anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not ever really looking to recapture a feeling, but if it's a good movie on its own merits, I mean, I'd like to see it. So.
But yeah, I guess that's true. But the odds are, with track records, that this could have been a disaster potentially in the making. Yeah. There was a chance, and they didn't have George Carlin, obviously. Again, interesting to see how they addressed that. Because obviously he was great. in those. And then New Mutants. New Mutants scene is such a strange story of a movie, because I remember we talked about this trailer like 3 years ago on the podcast for this movie. So this was officially the last Fox X-Men produced movie to be made. Even though, I mean, they made this fucking thing before even the freaking X-Men Dark Phoenix came out. They made this thing around the same time. They filmed it in mid 2017, April 2018 release. It was set for. So yeah, I think I saw that teaser late in 2017, and then they kept pushing this back and back. And then all of a sudden...
And then I remember seeing it, like, I remember seeing a preview for it in the theater, like 2 years after I saw the first preview for it. Like, they were like, okay, it's going to come out. We got to work this preview back in. But, it's not... So it finally came out, and it has not gotten particularly good reviews.
Well, now it's under Disney's banner, so they're like, what do we do with this thing? You know?
But I don't know that I'm ever going to bother watching this. It's just been through so many problems and so many delays.
Reshoots.
And then you start to read about the movie, about how Josh Boone wanted to make Storm an evil character that was like a warden of the prison that they were in.
And you're like, this guy shouldn't be touching an X-Men property at that point.
Yeah, and then whitewashing the character of Roberto da Costa, who's played by Henry Zaga in the movie. He's a dark-skinned man in the comics, and they went with a light-skinned man in the film. And when asked about it, and asked about the racism in Brazil and stuff, he said, I don't care about racism in Brazil. I needed someone who looked rich.
Is the character rich?
That I don't actually know. But
why does that they do it? I don't understand. Like, why would he even go there?
I don't know, because he's shitty.
It's only a lighter skinned person could be rich. Like, I don't understand that.
Yes, that's what he's implying. Yeah, I mean, it's just fucking dumb. So there's it just seems like such a weird. A lot of bad ideas. I just don't think there's anything worth seeing in it. I would have liked to have seen...
I never read a New Mutants book in my life.
New Mutants books are good. I would have liked to have seen Maisie Williams's Wolfsbane, but one actor playing a character is not going to get me to see a movie that by all accounts sounds miserable.
Yeah, I don't know the characters enough to want to see this either way. This is one of the reasons why Fox had to obviously sell their entertainment division, because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Here's his exact quote. I didn't care so much about the racism I've heard about in Brazil, about light-skinned versus dark-skinned. To me, it was I wanted to represent Brazil in a positive way, and I wanted to find someone who seemed like he could look like a guy who's had the silver spoon in his mouth, who had a rich dad. Okay. Thereby, fucking.
Well, it just sounds like, even besides that, he didn't know what he was doing.
No.
If he was thinking about Storm being like a prison warden, basically, to keep these kids trapped, it's just tone deaf. Yeah, what's with Josh's? Josh Trank did the Fantastic Four, which I finally watched a chunk of over the weekend, Ian, because it was on. I saw it on, so I hit the add to library thing on YouTube TV. So which basically records it from that point going forward. So I watched like the last half of Fantastic Four. It's as bad as what people were saying about that movie. It's bad. It's really bad. It's
the reboot one?
Yes, the 2015 one.
Yeah.
It's really, I mean, it's bad.
I'm sure.
It's miserable. It's shot like with no lights. Most of the movie takes place in the fucking military tech lab installation. There's no action scenes at all, except for the last 5 minutes of the movie. It's bad. So if that's how it was for the first half of the movie, I can imagine how fucking terrible this movie was. Where it's just like this serious buildup of these four characters. Somehow they're all young and going to the fucking Planet Zero, they call it, get their powers. Like, they're all like in their 20s. They would never be allowed to do that. Would they sneak off behind Dad's back? It's horrible. And then the worst part of the movie, because obviously, famously, Josh Trank trashed his own movie before it came out because he had a bigger version in mind. And then I read there was no director's cut of the movie ever. It was never cut together. But even in the trailer, they show like the thing like dropping from a fucking airplane to like do the government's bidding, like being like an agent and fight off, you know, people in third worlds or whatever. So in the movie, you don't see that. You see like them going to things like, oh, we want you to work for us. We'll promise to get you a cure. And he goes, what do you want me to do? Then it cuts to 1 year later. So you know they cut out like the whole sequence of him actually fighting and seeing something cool at least. It cuts away from that and just goes to people around like a boardroom going, oh yeah, we got these 4 people and we're keeping track of them and seeing how they're doing, and just showing like Michael B. Jordan throwing fireballs in a warehouse, and you see what's her name who played Sue Storm with the ridiculous wig from the reshoot, you can tell, throwing out her force. They shot at, it's a mess. And then the last part of it, this is the only time I ever talk about this movie, so I bring it up. People are talking about Dr. Doom. So Doom comes back from the planet Zero, and they said, well, how do you look like this? Well, your hazmat suit got fused with your body. That's why you look like that. But he has these ridiculous powers where he basically can make your brain explode, Ian, just by like looking at you. So he does that in the movie. Like, this is, again, a superhero movie where he makes everyone's brains explode. That's his power. Guys with machine guns try shooting him. He's got a force field. You see heads blow up, basically, with like blood. I don't know how this is PG-13. So he does that. That's Doom's power in the movie. So then he goes back to his planet in order to suck all the, it's the vortex in the sky trope, suck this planet to his, because he has to destroy the Earth because he doesn't want the people on Earth to destroy his new planet. So the Fantastic Four, the only time they're an action group, they then go back to this planet Zero to face Doom. So Doom, you think, could just blow up their brains instantly, except for maybe the Thing. He doesn't do that for whatever reason. He says he can do that to humans. And then it's literally like 5 minutes of action and the movie ends. Like
sounds bad.
So I know people don't want Disney to like, you don't want one monolith entertainment company to run everything. But when it comes to this shit, they would not make horrible decisions since they have a vested interest in these IPs not to fuck them up this badly. That's the difference for X-Men and for Fantastic Four. They would never have greenlit movies this bad. That's the point when it comes to this. They wouldn't, because when that gets tanked, it forces them to then not put out Fantastic Four comics and to make like one of the biggest properties that once existed and doesn't exist anymore. It devalues their properties. Fantastic Four used to be the marquee superhero team title for Marvel at one point in time, for a long time, and now it's like worthless, partially because of this bullshit that happens.
Yeah, I just looked up the Doctor Doom from that version. I had never seen it before.
It doesn't look horrible, but like how he acts is horrible. It's worse than the two previous Fox films. It's much worse. So I don't know what it is with Josh's. When you said Josh's, sort of set me off. Like, what is with these Josh's that don't know what they're doing with these properties? Get people that respect these fucking properties. How hard is that to do? How hard is that? Hey, do you respect the comics? Make it like comics. No. Okay, you're not hired. Like, it's that easy.
Yeah.
It's that easy to do that. Sorry, I know it's just a coincidence. I saw that over the weekend. And we finally, just a fucking mess of a movie. You want to check it out at some point? I mean, it's worth it. The morbid curiosity is worth it. No, it is worth it.
No, over the weekend, morbid curiosity finally got the best of Vonnie and I, and we watched Jurassic Park 3. It was very bad.
That's what they brought back the original.
They brought
Doctor,
back
right?
Sam Neill, yeah.
And they got a cameo of his wife.
Yep.
Right? But that's it for her. And then she's out. And Goldblum's not in that one, right?
Goldblum's not in that one. It's just a bad movie.
It's a bad movie?
Yeah, it was not good.
Was it better than Lost World? I remember not liking Lost World.
I did not like Lost World either. As much as I love the first Jurassic Park movie, I really dislike the sequels.
Did you see the two new ones?
I saw the first one and Jurassic World, and I liked it well enough. I did not see the second one.
They just seem like remakes, though. Like, what else can you do with these fucking dinosaurs at this point?
Yeah,
they opened the theme park that originally was dangerous to open, so they decided to open it. Right? Yeah. Is that the new movies are about?
Yes, basically.
And then they fuck up again, so now you have dinosaurs roaming on the island again, like in the originals.
Yeah, I don't know if the second Jurassic World is also, we're going to reopen the park again, but at least...
But the first one that's open, though.
Yeah, the first one's open. Lost World, they didn't open it. The third one, they did not open it. They were like, it was like...
They had to retrieve the lost people or something in the third one. That's what
they had they had to retrieve people that had gotten like stranded there on a fucking photo shoot, like parasailing.
They went parasailing because that's a good idea. We want to parasail anywhere near the island where dinosaurs are. Even if there's a 1% chance we're gonna land on the island with dinosaurs.
Yeah, it was not good.
It's not good. And I'm sure there was like a subplot in the third one about I've seen parts of it where it's like we're not just rescue them, we're going to try to get embryos back or samples so we can clone them or whatever.
So, no, there's something
like that.
There's a guy who goes on who gets Sam Neill to go on the trip, who then grabs raptor eggs from a nest halfway through.
So it's basically the plot of Aliens.
And then there's a problem like later.
Yeah,
it's
basically Aliens.
It's all very, very predictable and bad. It was not good.
We're gonna try to rescue the people, but really we want to take the technology or monetize it or weaponize it or whatever, like in Aliens, how that happens. You're willing to sacrifice people to get your alien embryos or whatever the fuck. God, what a fantastic Paul Reiser performance. It's the slimiest guy ever.
He is so slimy in that. It's really, really gross.
It's great. It's just the quintessential performance. I always forget about that. We talk about Aliens. We didn't mention Paul Reiser at all.
No, we didn't. God, he's so easy to hate in that movie.
Oh God, he locks her up to get impregnated by the crab alien. God, it's fantastic. Locks up Newt
Facehugger
as well. The facehugger, yeah. Yeah, Crab's a different alien, right? In the third one or whatever, they started to do more of these aliens.
There's the dog
one
and the third one.
The pig one in the director's cut. You ever see the director's cut of Alien 3? It says it's not a director's cut.
It's not a director's cut.
It's the closest thing to it, though. Yeah. But it even says on the DVD. I said, Frank, it says it's not a director's cut.
Yeah, he won't put his name on it.
But it's closer.
He won't fucking talk about it.
He won't even talk about it. Imagine working on a movie and it's such a horrible story you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's not to get too sideways. I don't hate Alien 3. I don't think it dashed on the rocks so much
of the second one. Yeah,
so much potential. Yeah. On its own, it's fine, but like, just to hear about what could have been.
We could have got a Michael Biehn and Sigourney Weaver adventure in the third one.
Yep.
Or even just Michael Biehn. If she didn't want to come back, then you have him, and then he got paid out though. They paid him.
Oh yeah, no, he got paid.
He got paid as if he starred in the movie.
Yeah, he got a shitload of money for that.
But like, I don't understand why you would just go off that track. God, they got to make that Alien 5 the real one. I know they probably will never, but that'd be so, I don't care how old they are. Bring him back. Bring back teenager Newt, 25-year-old Newt. Okay, time to start the podcast, Ian.
Mm-hmm.